Hello, welcome back to Segs and Bacon. This is your host, Callie. Today, we are diving deeper into some trauma and triggering stories, so if you're not prepared for that, I would just skip this episode. But if you are prepared, I'll be touching on what I spoke about in episode 2, my top 3 life-altering experiences. And if you haven't already looked into and downloaded my guest appearance it was Exploring Places Unknown. That is kind of my part 2 to the top 3 life-altering experiences, where I dive deeper into my 2 years of living with a tech billionaire, and he faked his death, and we're gonna pick up on where I left off, or what I did not include in both episodes. I'm not going to repeat too much other than the fact that this man faked his death and has ties to, he's a billionaire. He's at the top of the hierarchy, and we're gonna go over the billionaire hierarchy as well. And if you're not open to these topics and believe that they're just sheer conspiracy, well, this episode is not going to be for you. Again, suggest that you skip this episode because it's going to be triggering and it's going to touch on things that are part of my sex, love, and unfiltered truths. It's what makes me a fucking slut. And so, okay, where do I begin? Well, Jeffrey had this personal chef, and I feel like this story is super significant because it's a story about transformation and truly turning what is a perceived weakness to others into your power, your purpose, your destiny, and monetizing it as well. And so shout out to this woman who really gave me the opportunity to transform the experience she gave to me. The enlightenment, the wisdom, take what you will. Jeffrey had a personal chef who would come every month to 2 months to meal prep for us, several different meals, so it was a variety, and she was really great at it, honestly. But I loved her food, other than the fact of, I don't know what actually went into it. And I'm giggly because I did have a mimosa prior to starting this video. There's no way I can dive into this so publicly and so nonchalantly. I may cry, maybe not, but bear with me as you hear me deflecting through laughter through this crazy experience in which, by believing someone was dead, it gave them the power for this story to almost die with them. And since this man isn't dead, basically risen from the dead, resurrected, these stories are resurrecting with him and his presence on this earth still. And I'm not the only one really diving into this too. There are some Nepo babies, billionaire babies, who are really pissed off with their parents. And they're validating what I went through sharing their own experiences as they watch what goes on through their own childhood, or have watched. And so, proceeding, his personal chef, I say ours because I lived there for 2 years, it was a very entitled state of being, and anyways, I will get started with the story. But I talked a lot of shit about the elite and my own beliefs, and even my own experiences and stories, and I had spent time out in LA prior to this experience with the personal chef. This personal chef is just not just any personal chef. She's not even and whenever I say that, she's not a famous chef that you would know her. No. She is a divorcee. This may get me in trouble, but it's okay. Jeff Saltzman, who was the music producer of Cornelli Music Group. I may be wrong on that. That may be his current group now. I think he's out in Australia, New Zealand area. And this marriage has its own story of its own, accord, and I'll get to that. But this woman, at one point, whenever I was talking shit about the cannibalism, the pedophilia, and the baby blood drinking or child blood, the shit that's going on, the cannibalism, She so cheery. And this woman listened to like true crime podcasts, like the British guy who has a really scary voice. Like that kind of like that was like her thing. She didn't listen to anything else. She was only true crime, murders, serial killers, all of this crazy shit. And which isn't a red flag for everyone. That isn't the point of the story. There are plenty of people who aren't this person or like this woman. But to shut me up and put me in my place, she let me know with a smile on her face while she was preparing our meal prep, touching our food, her energy going into our food. And I never touch these meals either. And I'm sorry for all the fucking pauses. It's just so hard and insane. And part of me, like, maybe even like kind of programmed to not release this information because the type of people I was around, they have the power to like basically hypnotize and subliminally program you to shut the fuck up, basically. So bear with me. This woman, as she was making her food, she told me, well, announced, because Jeff was also in the room, she was like, me and my husband used to go to snuff parties all the time. Or, well, her ex-husband. And that was all it took for me to leave that conversation and go out to the hot tub for the night, and the story died with him. And it's so significant because if you look up what snuff parties are in the Epstein files, and to have a woman who is the divorcee of Jeff Saltzman, if you look him up, he produced The Killer's first album, Blondie, The Black Keys. A number of different artists came through. And one of those artists that came through his studio happened to be the artist who introduced our personal chef. Her name is Erin. Sorry, my fucking eyeballs super itchy. So Erin, our personal chef, is basically an payment exchange for 2 albums. One at first, but Erin discloses to me that her friend was able to get a second album because the marriage was still ongoing and stuff, even if it wasn't going well at the time. And so this person got 2 albums produced by Jeff Saltzman for free in exchange for Erin's hand at marriage. This is important because a lot of these dynamics with the elite happen to be arranged sugar baby, transactional marriages, like whether they were escort sugar babies, all of them are transactional. The fact that this woman prepared our food, openly went to snuff parties, was hired as a personal chef by I didn't know it at the time that he was a billionaire, but by this man who is a billionaire. And there are a lot of things with this character that he is part of the files as well, even though he's redacted and there are aliases and you have to look at timestamps, and you looking up facilities like holistic centers and just like parts of California or parts of the world that are spoken about in conversation whenever I was around, because I lived with him for 2 years. This same woman was the one who shattered my healing dream, other than the red flag, like pitfalls and things that I went through in LA. What truly like forced me into a place of like, and it was part of their grooming process, was shattering someone's self-worth. And she told me that I would never be hired for anything more than sex. And it took me years up until this past year. Well, less than that. More than. It's been a journey of processing being told by someone, even if she's just the ex-wife of this person, that no matter how much I put into yoga certifications, into my tantra practice, into spiritualism, the healing modalities, men would never look at me as more than just my body and my being able to use me in a manner that pleases them for their desires. And she wasn't entirely wrong. And I'll own that. Not in the sense of like, oh yeah, I'll be an escort forever, even though there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, my God, like, if I don't find if my destined partner does not align with it, like, if there's none of that, if there's no partner for me, I will do this forever because I love it. But it's not because like some woman told me that that's all I'll ever amount to. It's because I choose it. I find the empowerment and the healing in it. And this woman gave this painful wound, or really opened it up because of my past and the industry already, which is shared in the other episodes if you're new here. Without that verbalization from someone so connected, I don't know if I would be here today sharing all of this information with you and having a podcast, because listen, I am a source of sexual wisdom. I am a source of sexual healing energy. I am a sexual being. So fuck yes, I am going to be someone who is always called upon to serve in that manner, even if I'm not actually being physically intimate with someone. I am here to serve the sex industry, the sex deficits, I can't even put it into words. I am here to coach people through intimacy, through their sex issues, through everything this woman tried to shame me from even desiring to be, because she told me that's all I would ever be. As if, like, what do you mean? That's all? Yes. And I will be the fucking top. You will not be able to, like, avoid my face at some point, because that's how much I feel embodied and empowered and on my path, discussing sex, discussing taboos, discussing unfiltered truth, exposing people, just as I'm doing now. So, Erin Mahoney, I really appreciate you for playing the role that you did in my becoming. So much love and gratitude. And I think that's all I have for today, because that was all I have. I do have like an hour worth of fucking shit that I'll get to maybe next week. I've been writing down notes to break it down fully, but I'll leave it on that cliffhanger, because those who try to knock you down and keep you in a crab barrel, their day comes, and what hides in the dark, like, the light will find. Damn, that mimosa was good. But thanks for tuning in, listening to that craziness of just adding to the billionaire saga. Please follow, like, review, rate. Please review. I need more reviews, guys. And follow me, subscribe to my emails. Check out wearesluts.team, which is my website. And thank you for being a loyal